me, you, everybody out there, the Met fans, the IBOs, to take a nice deep breath and look ahead. Look ahead to the future. We'll also talk plenty of football later on today, including we're learning a lot more about Mike Kafka, and Joe Burrow has a message to the rest of the league, and another edition of 25 and 25, counting down the most memorable moments of New York sports from the past year. But I am calmer today, Tiki. I want to be a mentally healthy person.
I can see that.
Thank you. I am wearing a T-shirt
that was given to you by whom?
It was sent to me by a listener, and that's the reason I'm wearing it. A guy by the name of Andy, and it's fitting that it arrived today. Andy writes, Evan, no one deserves this more than you. Start seeing a therapist and adjust your medications. And it is a picture of a drunk, hobbled Mr. Met, and it says, you gotta bereave. So I'm wearing that shirt because Andy sent it to me, but no, it's a new day. And I think today we just got to be smart, we got to be calm, and we have to have real discussions. So the first thing I want to throw at you, Tiki, because you're the most rational guy here,
yes,
and everybody in the audience, and this is not me saying it as clickbait or I'm crazy or I'm losing my mind. Again, I want to open my mind and be reflective of what's happened over the last few days, and I want to move forward. So the question I ask you is, should the Mets consider trading Francisco Lindor?
We joked about this, 2 days ago or a day ago, because of it seemingly feels like David STUNS is looking to remake the core of this team. Tommy even said it at 4:40 yesterday, 4:40 or 2:40 yesterday when you brought him in. You got to change the core because of the failings of 21, 25. You can't have this inconsistency and up and down roller coaster ride season to season based on whatever. And again, if you don't know what it's based on, then you really need to make some changes. And you joke, well, okay, if that's the case, then move Lindor. Right? If he's part of the problem, then get him out of here as well. I can't see it happening, and I can't see why the Mets would want that to happen. He's only 32 years old. And yes, he has struggles at points of seasons. Usually it's at the beginning, and he comes out of it, and then he's perfectly and he's great. I view him as one of the leaders, and maybe even the leader of this team because of how we see him every game, every accountable moment. He's there. He's the one that's speaking to the media, not shying away from it. He doesn't skirt the issues. He addresses the issues. And I think that's valuable for a team that needs a star that can do that for them. Juan Soto doesn't do that necessarily. Francisco Lindor does. Trading him would mean you are completely resetting. And I don't think that's where the Mets need to be.
They are resetting. Like, that's my counter to you. Like, what do you think has happened in the last 48 hours? But you have
Juan Soto making whatever he's making for the next 14 years.
I get that.
You have a superstar that you don't want to waste. He's 27 years old going into this season. Mm-hmm. And so at what point are you going to say, well, we reset and we'll figure it out in 3 years? And now Juan Soto's 30.
Well, hold on. Don't get this twisted, at least on my account. I would not consider trading Francisco Lindor in a dump-off for prospects. That is not something that interests me. And to be honest with you, I'm open-minded to everything.
Is his contract movable then?
Yes. Why wouldn't it be? It's a 6-year, $194 million deal for a guy who almost won the MVP a year and a half ago. Like, I think that's a reasonable deal. And he plays every single game.
Right.
And by the way, if it's not movable, if it's not appealing to other teams, then no deal.
Does he have no trade?
He does.
So you're going to have to convince him.
Correct. Correct. Yes.
Or
yes.
Send him somewhere where he's going to have a chance to be a champion or elite or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever how he views his career.
Yeah, I mean,
so
look,
it's not like, we're going to send him to the A's. That's not going to work.
Well, the A's aren't also going to trade for him.
True, but you know what I mean. I'm using him as an example of a place where it's purgatory.
I get you.
If you're a veteran. So.
I am very open to everything. Look, the last few days are tough. I'm not backing off how I feel, but I'm also, and I think this is the healthiest thing we can do as fans, we have to move on.
Yeah, but
we can give our opinions on how mad we are, but Pete Alonso's not coming back. Edwin Diaz is not coming back. This is the Mets. So now, how do we move forward? And I think considering David STUNS has taken a wrecking ball to this team, I am open to listening. That does not mean I want to trade him. It means I will listen. Because right now, why wouldn't you listen? Look what they just did.
Yeah, I hear you, but if I'm a Met fan, hell, forget if I'm a Met fan. If I'm David STUNS, I want Francisco Lindor. He is one of those players that when he gets hot, there's not very many players in the league that are better than him. We already know he's a solid defender, even though he had an error-filled first half of the season last year. But he is one of those guys that can compete for an MVP.
But why do you think that trading him means you aren't trying to win?
Because who's replacing him? Well, so what player is going to bring you all of what he brings offensively, defensively?
No, you're thinking about it wrong.
Clubhouse leadership-wise. Who's bringing
Okay,
him?
you are thinking about this wrong because this is the way I thought incorrectly. I said for months, whether on the Rico or here, how do you replace Pete Alonso? Well, you don't replace him with one guy. You become different. So, you know what? I'm going to be specific.
Okay.
I'm not going to dance around this. I'm open to trading Francisco Lindor because why wouldn't I be? David Stearns took a wrecking ball to the rest of the team. So, I got a team I'll call up. You want to get uncomfortable?
Don't say the Yankees.
The Los Angeles Dodgers.
Oh, come on.
Oh, yeah? You think so? You think I'm crazy?
Why would you help them?
Because
become even better.
I want to help myself. The Mets right now put themselves miles away from winning. It doesn't make it impossible. They can just go out and buy new free agents and change the team and everything could be dandy, or they can continue to reinvent the New York Mets, reimagine the New York Mets. And so since they moved on from Brandon Nimmo and since they moved on from Pete and Edwin Diaz, again, I think you are crazy out there if you're not open-minded. And that's the key phrase. I'm open-minded. I didn't tell you they have to trade him.
Right.
If I don't like a trade, I'm not going to trade him.
Don't they have a shortstop who they're paying a lot of money for?
Their shortstop isn't a shortstop. Their shortstop is Mookie Betts.
I know, but they're paying a ton of money to Mookie Betts.
I'll tell you,
he was the first big move in this new Guggenheim era.
I'll tell you a trade right now.
Spending tons of cash.
You want to hear a trade that the Dodgers would say yes to and Met fans will probably hesitate at, but if you think about it more, maybe you do?
Go ahead.
You send him to L.A., you get Andy Pages back. First of all, Andy Pages, as an outfielder, had a really successful year last year.
Right, 24 years old, he's young.
Sucked in the postseason and then made maybe the most historic catch in the history of the World Series.
That's right.
So there's your young, controllable, right-hand hitting outfielder. We're off to a good start, right?
Right.
Then
he didn't make the catch, right?
He did make the catch. He made it over Kiki Hernandez.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
he came into the game for his arm, not his glove.
Right.
And remember, he wasn't playing because he was slumping so bad in the postseason, but had a really good year. So piece number one, Andy Pages. Piece number two, Tyler Glasnow, a pitcher that the Dodgers are looking to move because they're going to acquire Tarek Skubal in the next few hours. So right off the top, I'm trying to win. I just added a really good starting pitcher.
That's a prediction, not a report.
That's a prediction. Yes, let me make that clear. So I've just added Tyler Glasnow. I've added Andy Pages. And here's the third piece, which is going to sound crazy off the top, but it does two things. It's a contract that's less than Lindor in terms of years.
Yeah.
And you just started murmuring about leadership. Okay. Then the guy I'll take back is Freddie Freeman.
35 years old?
How many years is left on his contract?
I don't know. 2?
Well, we saw Nimmo get shed for a shorter contract than Marcus Semien, so you would basically be doing the same thing for Freddie Freeman.
Okay, but do the Dodgers need that? Do the Dodgers want that? Right?
Do the Dodgers need it?
Are they looking to look, they don't. The Dodgers aren't trying to save money. You know what I mean? They're not trying to, all right, we can cut this cost because then we can go acquire this person and open up this roster spot or this position for somebody else that we really, really want. That's what Semien was.
Well, it's not saving money it is saving money it's not saving money for the Dodgers. It's making the Dodgers better. You just traded an outfielder who you benched in the World Series, a pitcher who's expendable, and a first baseman who's 36 years old for a future Hall of Fame shortstop.
Right.
Quite frankly, I think the Dodger fan, not that they're listening, but anyone in L.A. would say, of course I'd make that trade. Like, why the hell wouldn't I? And I asked the Met fan, and this is obviously never going to happen, but I'm putting together the frameworks of trades that I would be listening to.
Right.
Young outfielder, stud starting pitcher, and temporarily a veteran leader for the next 2 seasons.
Yeah, the problem is...
Is that crazy?
No, it's not. But the problem is I don't want to get rid of Francisco Lindor if I'm a Met fan.
I don't want to get rid of him either, Teak, but I didn't want to get rid of Pete Alonso or Edwin Diaz either.
Yeah, but they were both free agents. It was convenient to get rid of them. If you start moving guys... Nimmo is a completely different situation because we kind of felt the writing was on the wall. They were helping solve a problem for the Texas Rangers. It is what it is. It was mutually beneficial. All's good. But when you get rid of a guy like Francisco Lindor, who has been your vocal leader, your captain in a sense. I mean, he almost was named captain. He wasn't, obviously. But when you do that, it takes away everything that you've built.
I just added a right-hand hitting young center fielder, a stud starting pitcher, and one of the great leaders of our generation, and Freddie Freeman.
Can he play in New York?
Can who?
The Pies.
I mean, come on. I don't know. He
I don't
played
know
in
either.
L.A. It's not like he was playing in Bumble Bleep.
Yeah, but in L.A. he could suck and nobody cares.
Tiki, you're an IBO. Are you saying that is not a good trade for the New York Mets?
Oh, it's a great trade for the New York Mets. I'm saying for the Mets, I don't want to get rid of Francisco Lindor.
You're phrasing it incorrectly. I don't want to get rid of Francisco Lindor either. I am saying that considering what's gone on over the last 48 hours, you have to listen on everything. And so I look around baseball, and I'll be blunt. I'm not trading Francisco Lindor for prospects. I'm not interested.
No.
If that's your idea, we respectfully disagree. I don't think the Mets are in position to really blow it up and rebuild.
You say go scratch. We're not.
I say
we
go
decline.
scratch. But would I be open-minded enough to make a trade like I just described? I'm open-minded. Like, our friends out in San Diego, and I talked to one of my buddies who I used to be roommates with, the one person I live with besides my wife, and I asked him, should I trust these people on the radio who said they heard A.J. Preller wants to go after Lindor? And he told me not to. And I said, okay, fine.
Did he also urinate in a cup?
He has done that before, yes.
You guys just don't get off the couch.
We got along very well. But the idea of the Padres going after Lindor is not crazy. Would I be interested in Xander Bogaerts and Mason Miller? No, that wouldn't be enough for me. That's why I just put together a trade that would at least intrigue me more. And I think that's where we're all different. Like, here's where I think most of us can agree. Considering the events of the last 48 hours, I think we should be open-minded to everything, including trading Lindor.
Yeah.
Where we're going to differ is what type of deal would intrigue you enough to pull the trigger. That trade I just described, completely made up.
Yeah.
Of the veteran that helps me now, the young center fielder, and the stud pitcher. You're saying you would do that.
I mean, I would. I just don't want to get rid of Francisco Lindor.
That sounds like a great trade then, because you basically said yes and no at the same
Yeah,
time.
that's exactly what I'm saying. Because I feel like he is a valuable piece for whatever the future is for this Mets team. Whatever this offseason looks like, I think Francisco Lindor has to be a part of it.
I think that all bets are off now. I love Francisco Lindor just like I love Edwin Diaz and Pete Alonso. I'm about winning, and I'm about being open-minded now that a wrecking ball has been set to this team.
I almost feel like you're being somewhat defeatist because of the Lindor and the Diaz exits. But
no, I'm not being defeatist.
But no,
I'm being open-minded.
No, you're being defeatist, saying, "Well, I mean, we already are not going to be good, so we might as well start this thing over."
That's not true, though.
I think
my trade isn't starting things over, though.
I think but you're getting rid of one of the biggest pieces of your puzzle.
Well, hold on. You're right, but
4 years.
But in that fake trade I made, I just added a stud starting pitcher,
but you don't,
a stud young outfielder, and one of the great veterans of our generation.
Are Met fans sick of Lindor?
No.
Then why would they want him gone?
I don't want him gone. You're twisting my words.
I'm not.
And I promise not to yell today. I am just saying that we now have to look. There's a lot.
Here's the problem. I think with this trade in particular, where Freddie Freeman falls off the cliff.
He's only got 2 years left on his contract.
It doesn't matter. But what if he stinks? For 2 years.
Then it's a sunk cost.
So is it?
Well,
because
that contract
you've
is
undercut your chances of winning.
Every trade features risk.
And Paez, I mean, maybe he's good. He got freaking benched last year.
I get it.
And you got a Glass now who is a pitcher, and who knows what the hell happens. You could get Tommy John next season.
You sound like David Stearns. You're afraid of your shadow right now.
I mean, if it means that I'm moving off of one of the few guarantees that I have on this roster, yes, I'm scared of my shadow.
Dude, they just moved off.
No, they didn't move
Pete
off.
Alonso, who was a guarantee.
It was an opportunistic exit for them. It was a chance for them to change their roster over without having to move major contracts.
What did I just describe then? I just described moving off a big contract and acquiring 3 pieces, all very unique and different, that can help you win today. That's what I described. Again, I am not interested, and clearly you aren't either, so we agree, in dumping Lindor for prospects.
No.
I'm not interested.
No.
But am I open-minded enough to another big market team who has other pieces so I can continue to reinvent the New York Mets? Why wouldn't I? Look, we have 2 choices today, Met fans. You can continue to bitch and moan and cry like I did yesterday, or you could pick yourself up and say, now what? Well, I'm in the now what stage. And I'm sorry, now what includes everything. It includes listening on Lindor. I know what you're thinking over there.
Uh-huh.
You want to make an offer too over there?
I hope you like Anthony Volpe.
I'm not interested in Anthony Volpe. My shortstop is going to come internally. Like, upon making a trade like this,
Yes.
I would be giving Jet Williams an opportunity, Luis Angel Acuna, Ronnie Mauricio.
Yeah, you have plenty of options.
You're not thinking of Volpe as a second baseman, and that's your problem.
No, I'm not thinking of him as anything because he doesn't interest me.
Yeah.
If you want to interest me, I just made a fake Dodger trade.
Yeah.
You want a fake Yankee trade?
Yeah.
Ben Rice,
Okay.
Cam Schlittler, and Jason Dominguez.
Out.
Okay, then we don't have a deal.
Can't give up
Yeah.
Schlittler in that deal.
I agree.
All right.
You need Cam.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll give you Giancarlo. You can take the end of that deal.
I'm not asking for Giancarlo. Tommy, are you open-minded?
Very open-minded.
Wow.
Now,
Look at you. You and I we're growing closer together as we fall apart from each other
Yes.
with you being promoted to primetime Tommy.
well, because Evan, I think you're spot on. You could either swim with the stream or against the stream. Meaning you could cry about what David Stearns is doing or you could get on board with it. If they're going to be open-minded to all these changes, I'm going to be open-minded to it. I like your Dodger trade. Could they call the Padres for Tatis and Mason Miller, though? Is that
No.
just something that's just too much for Lindor? Or
it
is just
is.
Tatis just not on the table?
Look, here's the issue that we're going to run into. There are people listening who hate my Dodger trade. I can't sit here in good conscience and just make up fake trades that clearly benefit the New York Mets.
Yeah.
I am going to try, we all should, to be honest about things. Like, I would assume from a Dodger perspective, they would look at Pajas, Glasnow, and the last 2 years of Freeman and say, why not? We're getting Lindor. The San Diego Padres are not trading Fernando Tatis Jr. for Lindor. If anything, we'd have to put in more. It would have to be Lindor plus to get Tatis based on his age, his contract, the great potential he still possesses. So I get it. We all want Tatis Jr. I just don't think that's really a part of this. If we're listening on Lindor.
Yeah, he's 26, 27. He's young.
Right. So it would be Lindor plus to make a trade like that. And I think that, believe it or not, David Stearns is probably listening because clearly he has decided something I disagreed with. Something Tommy disagreed with. He decided to take a wrecking ball to the New York Mets. I don't like it, but it's happened. And so all we can do about it is say, this is what we would do now.
Yeah.
And so I think they have to listen on Lindor.
Yeah. They only if this is the money side of this is really becoming something that's in Steve Cohen's craw. That I'm spending too much money, 340, 50, whatever it is every single season, and we're not close.
I don't think it's about money, Tiki. I really don't. I think it's about the way they value players. And so a part of the appeal of Simeon for Nimmo was the shortness of the contract and the defensive skills that Simeon has. I think a part of the Alonso thing, which we've known for a while, is they never wanted to give him a 4 or 5 year deal. So I think in a trade like I just described, it would be, yes, scrubbing yourself of a longer-term deal in Lindor and bringing on big money deals, but shorter big money deals, which is exactly what Freddie Freeman and Tyler Glasnow are.
Have you thought about what this does to Juan Soto if you trade Francisco Lindor?
Why am I thinking about Juan Soto right now? He's on my team. He's in the corner.
Because, Evan, the fan base is on, what would you call it, full tilt right now?
Yes.
If you then turn around and also add trading Lindor to this, doesn't the perception be Juan Soto spent a year there and wanted all these guys out?
Sean, I'm glad you used the P word, perception. Do you think, based on the last 48 hours, David Stearns and Steve Cohen give a rat's ass about the perception of the New York Mets?
I don't think they do. But we know that was out there about Soto making the Marte comment and Francisco Lindor caring about fashion and all that. Now, if you move Lindor, that is different than moving off Alonso and Diaz, and it becomes Juan Soto didn't want Lindor here. And I don't think you want to put Juan Soto in year 2 of that contract in that kind of spot with the fan base.
We'll get to your calls next, 888-808-1019. We'll explore a little bit deeper if the Yankee fan would want Lindor or someone else who's available on the open market who's eerily similar to Francisco Lindor. We'll get to it coming up in a few minutes.